Happy May, happy strut, man. The season's coming in a lot of places, and it's been in for a long time in some other places. And we have been all over the country. We have been going here, there, everywhere, and I want to give you a quick breakdown on some of what we've experienced, the good, the bad, the ugly. Overall, it's been a fantastic spring. A lot of new experiences. I want to kind of go over some of the calls we've been using, some of the things that I've seen, and all that I've learned even this year. One valuable lesson I learned just a minute ago on my own farm, just going to scout. It's a crazy, cool opportunity to be out in spring turkey woods, man. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. South Florida, Osceola hunting, baby. Yeah. Look at that big old dude. Yeah, I meant to tell you, you were the real gunslinger this morning. Yeah. I don't know if y'all heard the announcer. He was going through the pines. On the pine and the curve, we got on stage Angel. So if I'm not in the turkey woods, this is where I like to be, in my shop, man. I can get all my honeydews done, working around the farm. So I love being at home, kind of pecking around the shop, and I enjoy that time. But I got all my turkey calls and my vest out of my truck that I just got back from a trip. Actually, Tennessee was my last trip, but I'm going to put my phone up and we'll turn it over to my man, Ryan, right there. I can't run these calls and talk like I want to on selfie mode. So, yeah, man, it's been a crazy spring, and I want to make sure to share some of the other behind the scenes. Now, anything that I'm talking about, you can go right now. Most everything is posted on My Outdoor TV or MoTV or MOTV, however you want to describe it. You can download it. A lot of these episodes are going to be on the docket to air on Outdoor Channel as well. And then we've been keeping up as well on this YouTube page, so be sure to subscribe, as I mentioned earlier. But everything I'm talking about, you'll be able to go see these hunts. We started the year in Florida, and obviously that's the first state that comes in. In Florida, the southern zone comes in early March. So typically the first weekend in March it comes in, and that gives you an opportunity to literally feel the first vibe of spring. The turkeys are gobbling. When I'm thinking of Osceola's, you know, in that southern zone, I'm thinking way down in that Immokalee, just north of Miami, so way South Florida. And when you hunt those turkeys, obviously in palmetto thickets, it's early, but that time of year the fruit is coming off. You're getting a lot of tomatoes and stuff, and so with that warm weather they're experiencing down there, the turkeys are ahead of schedule when it comes to what turkeys are typically doing in these states, you know, north, especially the Mason-Dixon line. And so it's just a good opportunity to go down there and feel warm temperatures and hear gobbling turkeys. And so we took Florida this year, and because everybody's schedule is crazy as it gets into April, we had a chance to really bring some brand new people into hunting. We started the year off, the first person I had a chance to take hunting was Jim Bruer, the comedian. Man, I've been a huge fan of Jim Bruer really ever since I watched Saturday Night Live. He was in a bunch of movies that I liked. Just a funny dude. And then obviously everything that I've heard from other buddies that are friends with him say he's just a great guy. And so I had a chance to meet him through a mutual friend, Ira Dean, who was in the group Trick Pony. He loves a turkey hunt. He was friends with Jim Bruer. They lived close to each other, and ended up, Jim was interested in hunting. He got really frustrated, just like a lot of us, at everything that was going on. Obviously, things got kind of strange and weird. He noticed the price of meat, how it got expensive. And so, really cool story of how Jim was intrigued to want to go hunting. Had really nothing to do with the sport of it necessarily. It was because he wanted to learn how to survive. He not only wanted to learn how to be a better gardener and grow vegetables, but he wanted to learn how to get meat. And he said, and I'd be John Brown, I don't think he said it exactly like this, but he said, I was not going to be just the berry gatherer in my family, as my wife described me. He said, I wanted to learn how to go out like a man and hunt and put food on my table. And so when I heard this, we invited Jim and Ira to come down to South Florida. And all I can tell you, dude, he was an amazing guy. Just as funny in person, very smart, very witty. I mean, intelligence at a whole nother level. He's got a good grasp on life. Even though he's been around a lot of different things, he's been in Hollywood, he's been everywhere, all over New York City, LA. He's had a ton of A-list celebrity friends. He's been riding the machine, as you can say, but he's still very down to earth, and he was a lot of fun. And as luck would have it, we ended up got on a turkey, just classic. I mean, when I say classic, I mean heard a turkey on roost, the turkey's gobbling, slipped up, literally put a Jake and hen decoy out there, set back, got hid good, started calling, and this turkey come out, investigating the call, saw the decoys, walked right up to the decoys, and Jim got his first experience.
Yes. Jim Bruer just done freaking knocked him.
Yes!
Jim Bruer is on the board.
Bruer is on the map.
Hold that.
From that point, we had a good start. Ira went on that day to kill a turkey. Then we had Theo Vaughn and Caleb Pressley come in, brand new people. They had a chance to hunt a little bit. That was a cool, fun experience. Theo and Caleb are somebody, I've known those guys the last year and a half, two to 3 years, and just great, fun people, man. Very talented. For me, it was cool to get some new people that I had already respected, enjoyed what they were doing in the entertainment business, and to introduce them to something new in their life. And so obviously, you know, whether they loved it or didn't like it, you know, I would say I wanted them to like it, but it didn't matter. I just wanted to be able to give back to those guys and say, hey man, this something means a lot to me. Hopefully you like it. And they've done the same with me, and some experiences they've given me an opportunity to be around, whether it's at their stand-up or seeing some of the stuff they're doing at Barstool, and I respect what they do. So anyway, that went on to hunting with Jack Link's team down at Troy Link in Florida. Man, had a chance to hook up with Luke Bryan. Man, we whacked some turkeys. Troy, we had a chance to take a guy named Jamie Fitzpatrick, who had never been turkey hunting as well. He got a turkey. After a couple swings and misses, he got a turkey and ended up fell in love with it. Like, man, he just texted me the other day and said, hey man, I got me a brand new shotgun in the mail. I got all camo. He got turkey calls. He's in. Him and his son's been talking about going this coming spring, obviously 2024. So that led to more opportunity where we were talking, and Jimmy John come down, and man, I love hunting with Jimmy John. He's one of my favorite people, just charismatic, full of life. And so with that, I've been really blessed to kind of get to know those guys and to laugh and cut up and be around them. Getting back to turkey hunting, what I found in Florida, that early season, man, the turkeys were really responsive. They bit on calls really well. Obviously, like any turkey hunt, you find some that just don't want to work. We found run into a lot of turkeys that was gobbling good that come right in. Early season, especially early season in Florida, typically if you find turkeys, you can kill them. The turkeys are usually confined to roads because it's real thick. Obviously, the thick stuff seems to work well for its habitat, that they got plenty of nesting. But you find those turkeys in those open food plot areas, and they run the road. So it eliminates a lot of places turkeys will be. Even though they're roosted, and it sounds like over these thick areas, typically they hit bush hog trails and our roads that they travel. So most of the time you kill the turkeys right up and down the 2-track in food plots or on the edge of food plots. So typically in Florida, you don't really need a lot of decoys, because most of the time you can get in the bow of a road. As soon as they come around, you'll have an opportunity to usually get the shot. So usually it's pretty easy, in my opinion, to yelp turkeys in. If you know me too, man, I love turkey calls, and my favorite are obviously mouth calls. This year, primarily, I used pretty much, I started with it and pretty much finishing with it, but I used this grandstander. I just really loved it. It's just it's a combo cut call, but
Yeah. Just try to bring them out.
a lot of, I just like, because you can do a lot of soft yupping. You can even get those little raindrop yups like those Marion Rios make. Even the eastern turkeys do it. I like that because it had a lot of backbone to it, but I could call soft. It's hard to find a mouth call that you can go from really soft to really loud or aggressive. When it comes to cadence, and you watch any of our YouTube or my outdoor TV, even some veteran turkey hunters or people in general accuse me of calling too much. But one is, dead turkey is proof that, you know, what worked. But what I found in calling, there is that fine line when you got a turkey and you working a turkey to a turkey call, yes, you can call too much, but I definitely think you can call too much too loud. I think it's harder to call too much if you're calling soft and making subtle sounds, because hens do make a lot more sounds when they're going through the woods, but it's real subtle, almost that we can't hear, but a lot of those turkeys will hear. Just sometimes just a real subtle. They're making a lot of noises, clucks and purrs, doing different things. And what I always try to do is, if I can get a turkey gobbling at me, is to reverse where I'm calling to make him gobble, but get him to gobble, and then when he gobbles, I'm talking back to him. So obviously I'm trying to have a conversation. So there's a fine line of calling too much, or turkeys are temperamental. Sometimes you'll have a turkey, especially in the middle of the day, that might be working, and all of a sudden you decide to give him a silent treatment, and that turkey goes from really sexed up, he's really ready to come in, and then all of a sudden he gobbles and gobbles and gobbles, and he anxiously gobbles and he worries, and next thing you know, he just looks over and maybe there's a grasshopper, maybe there's something to eat, and he scratches and starts feeding, and completely his mood shifts, and you let the hook out of him and he's done. It's kind of like a bedded bass, like a big female bass. It's like, well, can you run her out of that bed? Well, it's pretty hard. Can you make her bite? But once you get her attention, you get her kind of going around it. If you let that lure still too long, it might hurt you, it might help you. But there's a fine line of that bass losing interest and going back and say, this is not a threat. So I think the same can be said with turkeys. That has to come with a feel and finesse. But overall, when I get a turkey gobbling, I will typically yelp him all the way to the gun barrel, unless I feel like he's hung up, and at that point I will adjust my angle. So the biggest thing I do when I'm calling a turkey is I try to get the right angle. I feel like it's like fishing or angling. You keep working an area or brush pile and you get that right angle, and I have to always think about analogies when I'm thinking about stuff and relate it back to something other people do that might find success, like fishing. But turkey hunting's the same way. Where you at and how that sound is coming, where those turkeys want to come, and the angles mean a lot, in my opinion, in the distance and the angles. And so I feel like even when I'm working a turkey, even using decoys, very rarely will I use a decoy to put a decoy out, especially in the thicker woods and even places like Florida, because most of the time, unless I'm in a very big open field, most of the time, by the time I get a turkey responding, coming to a call, I will obviously see the turkeys, usually in range, and so a decoy can only hurt me. And so people will say, well, what's the benefit of a decoy? Or, you know, is it an extra advantage? I think it can be an advantage, but it also is a 50-50 chance that it can hurt you sometimes, because if you are working a subordinate turkey, a lot of times those turkeys that come in, they're looking, when they see the other turkeys, they stay away from it. Not because they think it's a plastic decoy, it's because they are subordinate. They realize that they've walked into somebody's home or somebody's area that they're not supposed to be. So they're somewhat pushing the envelope, and so therefore they will sometimes tuck their wings and walk away, still gobbling. So you'll think, well, the turkey didn't like my decoy. Well, no, it's not that he didn't like it. He didn't like that there's other turkeys there. Even though he's coming for turkeys, it's a weird thing. It's like they just want to ease in. And so in that case, sometimes just a call helps you a lot better. But if you're sitting on a big field, it makes it a lot tougher, because that turkey is gobbling, he's looking for movement. I've even had situations where I'm sitting across the field. If I don't have a decoy, I literally will sometimes move my hand just a little bit in my camouflage glove to give them a movement. And especially when they see that movement from way off, sometimes it can help you. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but I'm only talking about turkeys I've killed, and a little crazy off-the-wall tactics has helped me. Another thing I do if I'm working a field turkey is I never try to set up with my shoulders square to him. I always try to get on the same edge with that turkey. So that is just a couple things that we did that we had success, and we got some video to back it up where we did have success. But moving out of Florida, we went right into Alabama. Man, I had a chance to hunt with a new friend that I've really liked this guy a lot. A guy named Gabe Renfro. His area over in Alabama just seems to be chock full of turkeys. I like Alabama and Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama turkeys a lot, because I personally think they're some of the most aggravating. I don't know if it's just a habitat. A lot of people say, well, it could be pressure. For me, I just think it's something about the environment, the woods, the South. You know, it could be pressure, but I think obviously turkeys have strong personalities. I think, you know, those turkeys that are very dominant, no matter if they have pressure on them, I don't think there's a turkey on a WMA and or private that with the right approach that you can't find success with them. It's just, it's a touchy-feely thing of how they're gobbling, how they're reacting, where they're at, what's the approach, what's around you, who is around you. And I think there's a lot of variables, so there's not one particular thing, but I think every turkey out there is killable. I really believe that. And I believe that every turkey out there is killable in a way that will be adjusted to how you want to hunt. Usually when we're hunting with people that are trying to get their first turkey. Sometimes we're not hunting with people that are veterans, and so it's tough. It's tougher to kill those turkeys because it could be 10 extra steps. It could be a certain movement that you make or don't make that helps you get the turkey. So hunting those places like Alabama and Georgia is very, very finicky, and you better suited to hunt with people that have been around turkey hunting a lot. But then again, you can have situations, and one thing I mentioned that I want to bring up, that just this morning, here it is in May, getting toward the end of our season here in Georgia, I go out to go listen for turkeys this morning, and I'm dressed exactly what I got on, blue jeans, literally Vans, and I go to listen for turkeys. Well, man, I was so pleased on this piece of property. I heard 3 different turkeys gobbling pretty good, and I was very pleased with that. And then I thought I heard another one off in the distance. As I walked to get closer to the one I heard off in the distance, it was going to bring me closer to one of the turkeys that I figured to be 150 to 200 yards in the hardwoods. But in reality, with the leaves on the tree, I bet I wasn't but 100 yards from this turkey that was gobbling. But then I could hear exactly where this other turkey was. So I just walked down just like I am, not one single call in my mouth, not a shotgun or nothing. And as I'm listening to these turkeys gobble, I just, and they're gobbling, the one off in the distance. So I know this turkey's close, so I was like, man, this is awesome. So I'm done. I'm going to get back to my truck. Going to be plenty of time to go back and eat breakfast with my family and get my littlest kid to school. As I'm walking back, I'm crunching in the leaves. I'm not trying to make racket, not trying to break sticks, walking through the hardwood leaves. All of a sudden, I get up there and I stop on this little ridge, and there was some fresh scratching, so I was looking and just kind of looking around, kicking a few rocks over in a fire ditch, seeing if I could see any arrowheads. All of a sudden, the turkey gobbles, and it's the one that I was closest to. And this turkey is coming, and I'm like, oh my goodness. When he gobbled, I thought, oh my goodness, how does that turkey not see me? And about the time that I thought that, I looked and I saw the turkey walking up through the woods where I just left. I'd not made one call, and so as his head went behind a big white oak tree, I just squatted down. And that turkey walked up within 20 yards of me, and I videoed it with my cell phone. Could have killed him easy. I never made a call, or at least that's what I thought. But what I did do is I walked down toward him gobbling and then walked away. So the call was me walking in the woods. I did call to that turkey. I just didn't think about calling in the practicality of hen calling. So another valuable lesson I learned, it don't take much to manipulate these turkeys when they're ready to roll. That turkey walked up, and I got footage of him half strutting looking for me. Eventually, there was some deer that got blown. He kind of walked off, never did see me. And so I was just blown away. And of course, I come back, and that's why I'm telling y'all. I told my wife, she didn't appreciate the story like hopefully some of y'all was. It was just another turkey tale that I come in. She was the first person I told. I was like, you ain't gonna believe it. She said, oh my God, another turkey story. So anyway, I'm sharing that with y'all. So anyway, killed some turkeys over in Alabama. Man, that was great, man. I love hunting there. Them turkeys are hard-headed. I had a turkey there that was just really hung up. And I'll be honest, I poured the coals of this turkey, and I pushed it to the point of trying, almost bumping him, getting as close as I could. And honestly, if I hadn't had the camera guy and then probably 2 or 3 other people with me, and I've been by myself, I would have went all the way around this turkey, but I felt like I wasn't going to be able to get around. And if I did, maybe if I did, by that time he might have broke. The turkey literally come through some log jams and some stuff that was in his obstacle, and it sounded like a darn armadillo coming through the woods when that turkey finally broke.
God, we got him, baby. Is that a dead gum? What is that, a 1 o'clock turkey? 118. Hey, did you hear him come? Remember I told you it's a bunch of thick stuff? Nobody say we didn't work for that sucker. It's thick through there.
And so the footage was pretty cool. The turkey walks up and I'm literally shooting him at like 10, 15 yards in this thick stuff. So that was a cool experience. Then we had a chance to go to Tennessee. That was an amazing experience. It's just, I think Tennessee is probably the best place to hunt eastern turkeys. I know somebody in Tennessee is listening. It's like, shut up, Waddell. We don't need nobody coming to this state. But it is fantastic. I love the people in Tennessee, especially when you get just out of Nashville. Man, there's just some country communities out there. I mean, collard greens, fried chicken, cheese, grits, sausage, bacon, eggs, some little eateries and folks and farms that are just amazing. I mean, you can just smell magnolia and sweet tea wafting in the air. And there's turkeys that seem to be gobbling and strutting in every field, and every tactic applies. If you're a guy who wants to use decoys, they bite on the decoys. If you want to call them in, they call in. They work. The public ground is great there. The private ground is great. There's something magical happening, at least in the area I went to in Tennessee. And I've been going there the last 5, 6 years, and I have just been simply amazed. So hats off to the Tennessee Game and Fish Department and all the people. You know, I think everything don't happen by accident. It's just something phenomenal happened in that state. So I love that. Had a chance to go up and hunt with my buddy Peter and Spencer with Groove Life. Man, I've been a great partner with them. They make the silicone rings and these really cool belts that we wear. Man, they're great product, great company, good people. They had a chance to, we had a chance to take a sweepstakes winner or a hunt winner who had never been hunting. A really cool guy, man, Dylan. He had never turkey hunted, and man, he got a turkey right off the roost. I mean, literally this turkey just gobbled and come right in, just gobbled his brains off and come right across. Actually left some hens, and we got him in range, and he killed it. Later, the next, that same day, I ended up killing a turkey. So that was fantastic. Even I had a chance to go down to Guatemala, not to Guatemala, but north of Guatemala, Mexico, to hunt the Yucatan Peninsula, to hunt ocellated turkeys, again with my buddy Troy Link of Jack Link's Beef Jerky. That was different, dude. Them turkeys, their hens call, but man, they are turkeys, but to me they reminded me more of a peacock. As a matter of fact, turkey in Spanish is guajolote, and like, but down there they don't really call them guajolotes. The Mexicans don't. They call them pavo, which a pavo is more based on what I've understood in the Mexican language is more what we would call a domestic, like a peacock or something. Now I might be wrong. Somebody that's very fluid in Spanish or maybe Mexican will say no, pavo and turkey are the same. Pavo and guajolote is the same thing. But to me, that ocellated turkey acted more like a peacock, which peacocks and turkeys act very similar. Now I know that this ocellated turkey is a turkey, but the mannerisms, and so they whistle like a. We tried to use some of the hen yelping that I heard down there, where our turkeys are more, you know. There was more of, which nobody's really using this, but I did yelp a little bit like it. It was like a. It was like a whistle. I'm not doing it right because I hadn't practiced it, but it was I whistled them old squirrel dog rows. That was ocellated turkey. You weren't supposed to come to that. But it was like a elk bugle weird, but the hens are like a yik, 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 yik. It's like a, best way to describe it if you're an avid turkey hunter, it's like a Merriam when they're just yik, 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 yik. But it was like a whistly yelp. So I do think there's a lot of things that can be advanced in ocellated turkey hunting as far as yelping them in. But right now, the one thing that works the best, they use an electronic call, and they use the gobbler, and it's like a weird odd sound. And when you hear it, you know distinctively that it's an ocellated turkey because it's different than anything you hear down in that jungle. You'll hear those carousels, those big blackbirds with the orange spongy looking thing on their beak. They make like a it's like a hum, but it's really hard to hear, especially now that I've had a lot of shotguns go off on my ears. I can't hardly hear that, but they're in the trees, and you hear them in the morning, and you literally try to walk up and shoot them right off the roost. That's the way they hunt them. You can get on them on the ground. So that whole jungle experience, hunting with Javier and Mario down at Mexican Outfitters and the Peninsula Hunters, man, that was an amazing experience. Those guys did really well, man. It was in the middle of the jungle, standing basically screened homemade thatch roof, like huts that they built in the middle of the jungle. We had a little generator. We did have some makeshift toilet and a shower that we could all share. Everybody down there got an ocellated turkey, and we wanted to do it there in the jungle, which was more traditional as to where you think about hunting ocellated. And so that brings us to where we at right now. Really, that's been our season. We've got, I think, 7 or 8 episodes. I know we have 6 up on my outdoor TV of these experiences, and we got a couple more coming that our producer Cohen Stone's got on the docket. I know Ryan Wakenig, who's videoing this, we got a bunch of stuff on YouTube that we got coming up, and some things, if you hadn't seen, go back after you watch this video and check it out. Outside of that, man, just some amazing experiences I've seen. For me, it's definitely not about me shooting turkeys anymore. Again, this will be the 3rd year in a row that, actually the 2nd year in a row that I have not shot a turkey in Georgia. We have killed some turkeys in Georgia, which, going back to the most special hunt, was I've never missed an opening day of Georgia turkey season with my dad since I was 13 years of age. So now I have a chance to have my kids come with me, and I had my son McCoy and Mason come this year, and he ended up, both of them doubled up and got turkeys. So it was just an amazing experience. But overall, for me, it's not been about me killing turkeys. This has been about sharing the culture and the things that I love the most. And I will say I still like to pull the trigger from time to time. So I don't know, turkey hunting special, man. There's a lot of cool things. I hope you guys will comment below and tell us how y'all season is going. I know some of the places are just now firing up. I know Pennsylvania and New York State, that's just getting rolling. I'm starting to see pictures. A lot of heritage up there when it comes to turkey hunting. There's so many areas that are thriving, and I think sometimes on social media we only focus on the negative and the places that we're seeing some little situational problems where we're not seeing as many turkeys. I think we got biologists and nonprofits out there working on that. But then again, there'll be another place, maybe a county over, that has more turkeys than it's ever had. So it seems there's an ebb and flow with the wildlife, and I think the more we understand it and look into it, we just need to realize that we just, you know, if there's not a lot of turkeys in one area, then just don't hunt them. That's the kind of my approach. And so learning a lot, but my farm's coming alive. My pawpaw just pulled up. My wife just pulled up. So they say I talk too much, which I agree with them, and it's time to get to work. I'm home, so guess what? My wife's got me now. I don't know what she wants me to do. I don't know if I'll be planting flowers, planting tomatoes, or pressure washing the house. But I'm back to the real world. I just want to tell you about the dream world of me getting a chance to travel the country and turkey hunt. And be sure to watch it and subscribe, man. As I always say, love you guys. I hope y'all have a great success, and I hope y'all having a marvelous time out there chasing these turkeys, or wherever you're at, what you're doing, or where you're at, what you want to experience. So take care. Be sure to subscribe.